Howdy folks, welcome back to Antique Arms Almanac, and if you watch this on Gunpost as an embedded video, it's Calgary Federally here. So, got a Remington New Model Police, or Remington Police 38 Rimfire conversion, or the 1865 Pocket Trigger Guard Navy, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's the New Model Police 38 Rimfire conversion. These are pretty sweet little guns. Honestly, they're one of my favorite Remington cap and ball / conversion guns. And they have a very nice, comfortable little size to them. They're like a subcompact. They're almost like a little bit bigger than like a lot of medium, or a little bit smaller than a lot of medium frame guns. But they're definitely more comfortable than like a lot of pocket model guns. And if you actually look at the Remington Pocket, it has a spur trigger. And honestly, having this trigger guard and this nice little fine little trigger that just fits one finger perfectly. These are cool little guns. Anyways, quick history on these. Remington made these, or at least the 18, I guess technically the 65 is when they started making these. I think after the Civil War, maybe during, but 1865, they made these as percussion guns up until 1873. And then in 1874, after the Rollin White patent, which was held by Smith & Wesson basically, expired, and everyone could pretty well start making cartridge guns. 1874 is when a lot of cartridge guns started flooding the markets, and everyone could make cartridge revolvers. Remington was no exception, and funny enough, they actually were at one point paying licensing fees on some of their guns to Smith & Wesson. But this gun here was made after, so they made these from 1874 until, I believe, 1888. So these had a pretty good run. There were 19,000 either conversions or percussion guns ever made. So not the most common Remington in the world. They're relatively uncommon. And there are cool little guns. So I'll show you this one. It looks like original nickel to me. There's quite a bit of it. There is some nickel loss, especially right here. You can see this is kind of a duller gray, and this is the shiny nickel. You can see there's a serious contrast. This was just polished up, and there is some light surface pitting to kind of not contrast as much, because typically you get a lot of these old guns, and people will want to, quote-unquote, leave the patina on the iron, and it just looks like dull gray, and it's like dark, and it contrasts really badly with the nickel. So this has been polished so that it doesn't look so bad. But other than that, there's a lot of nickel on this gun. It's starting to wear through a little bit on the brass trigger guard, like I said, in the cylinder. And overall, it has quite a bit of nickel on the back strap, on the bottom. There is a name inscribed on here. It looks like Elliot Evans, Elliot Stevens. I can't quite read that. It's done kind of crudely, but it's not really all that deep. It's a pretty shallow engraving of a name. There's our, got to read it the other way, that's interesting. Patented September 14th, 1858, March 17th, 1868. E. Remington and Sons, oh come on, oh there we go. Ilion, New York, USA, new model. So this is the New Model Police. And there is a little bit of a dent here, I should point out as well, but it doesn't affect anything. Anyways, let's go over the grips on this. These grips, when I got this gun, were really awful. And you can see they have shrunk a bit with age, so there's a bit of a gap there. But nothing really to be worried about. These grips were badly refinished when I got them. They were like a straw color. They were kind of washed out. And these have been given a nicer, darker stain to kind of mimic aged, oxidized oil. And it just looks way better with dark grips. So these were refinished very recently for me. I had that done. In the mechanics of the gun, are pretty good. Very little lateral and horizontal play. Strong mainspring, handspring's good, it times right. The indexing is correct. The lockup is good. This is a pretty solid gun. This if you want to shoot some 38 rimfires through this, come on, let's get the sight picture with your notched top strap. That's what you're looking down. You could shoot this gun, but let's have a look on the inside here. Let's put this on half cock. Come on. Oh, that's why. Alright. Pop cylinder pin. There is our cylinder, which is 2 pieces. This is a conversion, mind you. So what Remington did is, some of these were made new, I imagine, from scratch. And a lot of these, I imagine, were just milled and made from the old percussion cylinders. So they just basically took the percussion cylinder, milled it off here, put a little locating pin, which goes into this little hole here. That's how it lines up and everything. And then they bored these out, and as you can see, there's some good reflection there. Look how shiny those are, nice and clean. A little bit of pitting and, you know, nickel loss, quite a bit of nickel loss actually, and pretty shallow pitting, but if you actually look down the bores, or the chambers I should say, not the bores, there is some pitting at the ends here, which, I mean, this was a cap and ball black powder gun probably at one point, or it was a just a black powder cartridge gun. Honestly, that pitting is pretty minor, and you're not dealing with, like, you know, if you have that kind of pitting in like a modern rifle chamber, oops, kicked the camera there. Yeah, that'd be kind of rough on extraction. I mean, this doesn't really matter. You know, those pistol cases are so low pressure. Extraction should be pretty easy. That's a decent chambers, except for the end has a little bit of pitting. There's your back plate, which is showing some nickel still on it. And how this gun works, kind of neat actually. There's our little, there she is. There she goes. See, it just pops on that little locating pin right there. And there's our big ratchet teeth. Big kind of crazy setup there. You don't have to worry about those getting too worn. And you can see there's little cuts, and that's for the hammer to go through and hit the rimfire cartridge. And that's how Remington did it, with this little backplate system. Now, of course, if you want to reload the gun, you have to drop your loading lever, pull your cylinder pin, pull the cylinder out, which, as you saw, was pretty easy to do. And then you take this out, and you can either use this. I do believe this will pop through. Oh yeah, you can use it as an ejector lever. Probably better to just use like a little piece of dowel or a little brass rod. Eject all your cases, reload them, put your back plate back on, and then to reload we just, well, first let's look at the bore before I put the cylinder back in. Okay, let's get this so it comes through on camera. As you can see, there is a bit of pitting, but I mean, honestly, if you're shooting soft lead 38 rimfire lubed bullets, that bore is perfectly shootable. And again, at the end of the day, this is a police pocket type gun. You know, you're just going to be shooting like 25 yards, but you know, these are nice little shooting guns. As you can see, the hand protrudes and indexes as it should, and this little cylinder locking stud is quite nice. And it's kind of funny, you still have this ball rammer on there, which is completely useless. It actually kind of gets in the way sometimes when you're trying to take the gun apart. But in order to put these back together, what I recommend most people do is you put that locating pin at the top, so you have gravity on your side. You're not running into stuff. But yeah, you need the hammer at half cock as well. See, that rammer is in my way. I just pushed that out of the way. This is a lot easier than doing it on camera here. Like, I'm kind of working with some confined space here. See, that rammer got into the chamber. And there she is. Function test. We're good. This is a tip-top little shooter. And it will be on gun post.